Am I the a-hole for saying I owe my ex's wife nothing and being quietly glad my kids don't consider her their second mom? My 30 female marriage to my ex, 32 male, ended during my pregnancy with our son, who is now 8. We formally divorced when he was 2 months old, but we separated at the very beginning of the pregnancy and co-parented our daughter, who is now 10, throughout that time, as difficult as it was. After the divorce was finalized, things turned more sour, and we avoided each other except for exchanges. 2.5 years after our divorce was finalized, he introduced me to his then-girlfriend, now wife, 33 female, at a custody exchange. At first, she seemed nice enough, and I had no problem with her. I even thought she was nicer than him. But something I didn't know at the time was that she took offense to me handing the kids to my ex, instead of offering her one or both of them. I found this out 2 months later when our daughter's preschool had their play, and she accused me of hogging my son throughout the performance and not giving her the chance to hold him. Then she brought up the exchange. She told me she was going to be their mommy too, and I needed to get over my selfish hogging of our children. And by our, she meant hers, mine and my ex's. My ex stood back and said nothing. I told her that I wasn't hogging anyone, and that at the exchange, I did what I always do when the kids go to their dad. She told me I just didn't want to accept that soon enough I'd be the number 2 mom, and maybe they'd eventually call me by my first name and call her mom. After that, she was tense whenever we attended the same event, and the kids weren't exactly happy to see her. Something my ex said was all my fault, because I didn't offer to let her hold our son, etc. Then she reported me to CPS with several false allegations of abuse. Her claims were wild, and CPS cleared me of all wrongdoing. They said the report was anonymous, but then my ex's girlfriend told me it was disgusting that anyone could clear me and that she knew better. Then she said she'd prove I didn't deserve my kids. Following that, they booked their wedding during my custody time, which conflicted with prearranged plans I had for the kids. I refused to cancel and told them to blame my ex, since he had access to the same schedule and calendar as me. We always had a shared one through an app that told us whose week it was and what plans couldn't be changed. My commitment came first. They kept the date and got married without the kids there, which I was hated for. His wife has been vile to me ever since. She makes disgusting comments about my appearance and has called me a prostitute many times. She tried to turn my ex's family against me, and when it didn't work, she tried to accuse me of parental alienation. For years I've heard that the kids aren't as bonded with her as my ex expects, or as they want the kids to be, and that they only want me. My ex tried to get more custody as a result, and the judge told him there was no cause for an increase from the 50-50 custody we'd had from the beginning. My ex brought up the conversation again last month when we had an IEP meeting for our son. He told me that his wife has been around the kids since they were very young, and that she should be their second mom, but they always correct him or her when they call her that and say she's not, even to others who refer to her as their mom. He told me I could be kinder to her and help with that. He said that as a mom, it's my job to make sure all the kids' parents are respected, loved, and treated well. He told me she takes good care of our kids, so I owe her some help with this. I told him I owe her nothing and that he should go back to those CPS allegations and realize I will never owe her or like her. Then via the app just a couple of weeks ago, my ex said he feels like I'm glad our kids don't call her mom or consider her their second mom. He told me I'm just being petty and an a-hole when I could be thinking of the kids' best interest. He said that saying I owe his wife nothing is a bad attitude to hold as well. I won't lie, I am crazy happy the kids aren't super into this woman. I have never discouraged it, and I always keep them out of the drama the best that I can. By that, I mean I can't influence what they see or hear at their dad's house, but I am quietly super happy. My ex isn't wrong about how I feel. Am I the a-hole for saying I owe his wife nothing and for being glad my kids don't consider her their second mom? Now for the top comments. I'd tell him to F himself, but that's just me. Not the a-hole. I try to keep things civil as much as it kills me sometimes, even if I would love to tell him to go F himself. They're goading you into something they can try to use against you legally. Every time, by text in the app, I have nothing to say about your wife, and nothing to say to you at all other than what is essential to co-parent the children I share with you. Not the a-hole. Is it just me who notices that the Whiptex is only thinking of himself and his wife, and not OP? He stood by while OP was called vile things, stood by and did nothing when his wife tried to steal OP's children, but somehow it's OP who owes his wife. Yo. Well done, OP. Not the a-hole. I am just the ex after all, so why care about what's said or done to the mother of his children when he thinks he found them a new mother? New mom has a uterus and can still have kids. If he wants her to be mom so bad, she can get birthing. If she can't have kids, too bad. Not your problem. Stick to your guns. Did you talk to your lawyer about everything they were doing? 'Cause I am sure the courts won't look favorably on all that surely. Yes, my lawyer is aware, and right now there is nothing the courts would do. This isn't a fight happening in front of the kids directly. But we are keeping in touch, and if something changes regarding the kids' involvement, we will go back to court. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to help my dad's wife with my half-siblings now that he's MIA? My parents got divorced when I, 16 male, was 2. Until last year, I split my time between them equally. When I was 6, my dad remarried and had more kids with his wife. I never liked her much, and we argued a lot. She always hated my mom too. Then last year, a bunch of stuff changed. My dad was promoted and his base is now out of state, so he and my mom agreed to change the custody schedule. She has me full-time, and I see him when he's home. He and his wife separated after that, but they're still married, and he goes to stay with her some weeks when he's home, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But he's gone way more than he's around. His wife was mad about the custody schedule changing and tried to say she had raised me for 9 years and should be allowed to keep me in her and my half-siblings' lives, even if dad isn't always there. I didn't want to go, so mom said no, and dad was like, whatever, it's fine by me. Since I turned 16, she's been more pushy about me being more involved in her household and not staying away when dad isn't around. She told me I should be helping out now because she's essentially a single parent even if she's not. I really don't want to be around her, and I told her I don't care about helping her. But she says I owe my family more, and that she's family whether I like it or not. And so are my half-siblings. I'm fine with my half-siblings, but we're not close, and I don't need to see them more than I do. She's getting angrier at me and at mom because I won't help and won't spend a few hours or nights at her house when dad isn't there. She's even angrier that I told her she has no authority over me and that my mom has custody now. When she brought up how she's been around most of my life, I told her I never liked her and that since it looks like she and dad are basically over, I don't need to have anything more to do with her. She told me I'm disgusting for being so unhelpful and for turning my back on my family. I don't care what she thinks, but I know this was harder on my half-siblings, and the last time I saw them, they said they missed me. It was awkward because I don't miss them when I don't see them for months, but all they knew was me being there 2 weeks a month. Now I may be there 3 weeks a year. Am I the a-hole? I'm guessing that she wants a co-parent, not even just a babysitter. Not the a-hole. Something like that. I think she wants help for the stuff dad did when he lived there and now doesn't. Then she should divorce him and find a new husband. She wants a stand-in husband. Now your dad isn't around. You're 16 and that is not your job. I don't mean anything gross. More like chores, handyman stuff, watching her kids, what a husband or father would do. Not your responsibility, not the a-hole. That's exactly what I was thinking. My dad used to do a lot of stuff and he's never there to do them. And when he is, it's not the same. I can totally see her wanting me to take it over. If stuff needs to be around his house and he's not there to do it, your dad should find a service that does those kind of things. His absence is creating problems that he needs to deal with. I don't think he's ever coming back permanently, so I don't expect he'll ever deal with this stuff. Next story. My fiance said that no man wants a daughter. The other week, me, 22 female, and my fiance, 26 male, got into a pretty big argument. On the way back from grocery shopping, future children were brought up. I mentioned how I'd love to have a little girl, Instead of agreeing or saying something joyful, he quickly said how he'd be disappointed and how he'd want a son. I knew he'd always wanted a son, but I didn't think a daughter would be a disappointment. He then compared a daughter to a son like getting a hand-me-down automatic car compared to a manual new car. I guess he sees daughters as inferior. We went on for a bit, and when I asked why he really wanted a son, he said, "I don't want my bloodline to end, and if I have a daughter, it'll end with her, with my family name." I was speechless. He's not royalty or anything, so I'm not sure why a bloodline is considered that important. We reached home, and I ignored him for a bit. It then blew up again. I tried to be reasonable and maybe come to a resolution, but he kept shouting and mocking me. It reached a peak when he shouted, "What freaking man wants a daughter?" I walked out of the house because I had some unsavory things I wanted to yell. I left to go to work, and while driving, I received a barrage of texts saying how he's cutting my car off the insurance since I'm being so childish. That evening, he apologized, and I thought we'd made some progress when it comes to communication. Flash forward a week later. I'm at work doing my thing when I receive a message from him saying the car's battery is dead. Context: I have 2 cars, he has 1. His car was at the garage, so he's been borrowing one of mine for a couple of weeks. I spoke with my coworker, and she said as it's quiet, I can finish early so he can get my other car to get to work. We talked, and he agreed that if I headed back early, he'd run me back to work so I wouldn't miss out on hours. My coworker was also happy to drop me off at home. He messaged me saying if I head home now, he can drop me off back at work. So I head home and call him once I'm outside. I said, "Hey honey, I'm outside. Where are you?" He snapped at me saying, "I'm nowhere near ready. You come inside. I'm not coming out." Despite my inner urge to just drive back to work after that attitude, I parked, called to him when I got in the house, and sat down on the sofa to wait. 10 minutes passed, and he stormed down the stairs, saw me, and snapped, "Geez, thanks for the help. Nice of you to help me when I'm in a pinch." I was very confused by his attitude, and also the fact that letting him use both my cars isn't considered helping in a pinch. We got in the car. I was baffled and tried to ask calmly why he was so worked up. I was then barked at with words along the lines of, "I'm going to be late for work. You don't even help me. I had to rush to shave. You could have packed my lunch while I was getting ready." I was genuinely shocked. He then continued to yell at me in the car and mock me. I just don't get how he doesn't see how weird he's being. Whenever we have arguments like this, he always ends up making me feel like it's my fault for not always being able to know what's going on. I know I'm far from perfect, and I make mistakes, but I would never treat him how he's treating me at the moment. I feel like I'm always on eggshells, and everything I do is being scrutinized by him and judged, and that no matter what I'm doing, it's not enough for him. I just don't know if he's really being an a-hole or if I'm just being oversensitive. Now for the comments. Please do not have a child with this man. If you end up having a daughter, she will be traumatized. I am not sure if you didn't see all these red flags before getting married, but honestly, I would be thinking about divorce. These issues are core values. Please don't marry this man. He is a walking red flag. Please don't even continue speaking to this man. Please stop calling this person a man. You're not the a-hole. He sounds like an enormous piece of turd. You realize you can't have kids with him, right? What happens if you have a daughter? Now she's stuck with a garbage father that hates her. You shouldn't even be with this dude. Just in denial. I want this to work, but I'm coming to terms with the fact that it won't. Last story. My husband raised his hands at me and told me to shut up. Thinking of divorce. Am I the a-hole? Hello, me, 24 female, and my husband, 36 male, have been married for 2 years. I don't know what came over him, but last week he yelled at me for not picking up his mom's call. I was in the kitchen at the time washing rice, and I genuinely didn't hear the call. My husband was in the washroom, so he didn't hear it either. She called him 3 times. Later, when he saw the missed calls, he got mad at me since I was in the kitchen and could have easily picked up the phone that was in the living room. I really would have done that if I had actually heard it. But he said I was making up excuses and asked if I had some speaker in my ears for me not to hear the ringing. Honestly, whenever I wash rice, the noise of the water coming through the tap is just so loud. Even if someone were to tell me something while standing close, I wouldn't hear half of it. But he didn't believe me and just kept getting louder. He said I'm disrespecting his mom. He said I need to pay more attention to my surroundings and not have my head in some imaginary world. I was already upset because of how loudly he was speaking to me, so I raised my voice too and asked why he didn't just take his phone with him to the washroom. But out of nowhere, he just raised his hand at me and, I'm not even kidding, he said, "Shut your mouth." He's never said that to me before, so I was beyond taken aback. And then he said he regrets marrying me. We haven't spoken to each other over the week. He's ignoring me. I was expecting a sorry, but he is acting as if I don't live in the same house. Now I don't even know if he means what he said, or if I did something wrong, or if I should just apologize. Right now my thoughts keep circling back to him saying he regrets marrying me, so I was considering a divorce. I haven't told my parents what happened, but I did call my friend and cry for a while. She said that was rude of him, but it's better not to make it into a huge issue like divorce. Am I the a-hole? What do I do now? Make a quick game plan and leave when it's safe to do so. Don't go back. This display of anger absolutely will escalate. Contact an attorney ASAP. Please stay safe. Go to your mom's house. Be sure to take all of your important papers. Hugs from an internet stranger. Exactly. Your safety is the most important thing right now. Get away from him. You should be close to him anymore. Not the a-hole. Your husband has threatened you with violence. Don't stick around long enough for him to make good on that threat. Pack all your essential documents and get out as soon as you can. So he's poised to hit you, over a missed call no less, and regrets marrying you? And what's your question? You going to wait for the next crisis where he actually hits you? And if he regrets marrying you, why are you? It's easy for us to say, but that would do it for me. Advice: drop this ass clown. Good luck, lass. The age gap is a big clue, but ultimately it comes down to this. The mask has come off. That he got this upset over a phone call and threatened and menaced you? Hell no. There is no coming back from that. If you stay, it will escalate. I can promise you that. Please, please just leave. Get a divorce. You are so young and you don't deserve to live like this.